Afternoon, Unite for Her community. Sue Weldon here, and happy Giving Tuesday. Here we are bringing our women that we serve front and center. Today, I have a very special guest. Her name is Esther Timoney, and she is one of our women that had ovarian cancer during the pandemic that we ended up treating right in the safety of her home. And she so graciously allowed me to interview her today. And I thought it was so cute when I reached out to her. You're like, well, how come you chose me? And where did you get my number? And I'm like, well, we're following you. That's how we know what you're doing. So it's really sweet. And thank you, Esther. Thank you for joining me. Let you introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. And my name is Esther Timoney. I live in Wilmington, Delaware. I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in the end of January 2020. And it was a shock. The doctors all called my case weird and bizarre because the way they found it, that I had had a colonoscopy and there had been some inflammation in the colon, and I had had a few colonoscopies over the years, but this last time they decided it's time to do the surgery. So I had a bowel resection. They took out 8 inches of my colon, and I thought, okay, that's the end of this. And then they came and told me in that 8 inches, somewhere in that 8 inches, as they're slicing the pieces to look at under the microscope, they found 1 millimeter of ovarian cancer in the colon. So that was a shock. So then I had to go be referred to the gynecology oncologist. I decided to use Penn Medicine. It's so well renowned and I live nearby. So that's why I went there. And the surgeon said, okay, well, now you need a hysterectomy to get rid of everything. There were no tumors showing anywhere. And he did the hysterectomy, no tumors in the ovaries, no tumors anywhere else. They did find 2 more 1 millimeter slices in the wash, which is kind of like the lining of the abdomen. And one was in the omentum, which is a piece of fat that hangs down into the belly or something like that. But weird, 3 1 millimeter pieces. But it had to be called stage 3A because it was found in another organ. It was A because it was microscopic. So that's how I started. And they all said the whole thing was weird, but I had to have the full treatment. I started chemo in March of 2020, and I had my six cycles. I had my ups and my downs, my good and my bad days. And that's how it went on and on and on. Then I had an extra little wrinkle that I don't know anybody else that has had, and that is after my chemo was over, about a month later, I woke up one day and I had no feeling in my feet, which means I couldn't stand. I had no balance. You can't walk without it. So I started out with a walker, and then I went to physical therapy and I learned to walk with a cane. And then I learned to walk with braces. And now I can walk without any aids, except I still don't feel my feet, but I can walk pretty well. So it's been a real trip for me over these last 2 years, and Unite for Her has been wonderful to help me along the way.
Yeah, I remember us bringing along ovarian cancer. When we first were founded, we only did breast, and we just knew that, our women that have ovarian cancer are in such great need. And for us to be there with the same integrated programming was very important to us. So thank you for being here today to share your story. I'm glad that you used our program. You were at a time where we had to shift our program and we had to mail it directly to your home. How did that feel, getting that, conference in a box and those therapies and the passport right to your home and all of the offerings that we had?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was life enhancing. It just made me feel worthwhile. And there were other people out there thinking of me and knowing how to help me, because I didn't know what to do. I'd never known anybody with ovarian cancer. So that box was just wonderful, looking at all the goodies in there, all the beauty products and the teas and the salves and the passport. I was looking at all those little squares. It was wonderful. And then there was the cooking for cancer patients. That one was very interesting. I don't do any cooking. My husband's always done the cooking, thank God. But he looked at the book and he used it. So it was wonderful getting that box. And then about 2 weeks later, came the UFH first virtual wellness day.
Mhm.
And that's when they explained everything in wonderful detail with all the guest speakers. And I've written a little note here of all the different things that they explained to us. Over 2.5 hours it went. They talked about acupuncture, which I had through the Shine program, which is a different one. I didn't use my boxes. I was very careful with my boxes in my past.
But it's good because then you can utilize all the resources that you have for the best
Right.
care possible. Yeah.
Right. So you talked about the virtual wellness day, talked about acupuncture and Reiki and nutrition and counseling and yoga and meditation. And then of course the beauty box. It was wonderful. As of now, there are 12 squares on the passport. And I started off using the 2 squares for the food basket that was delivered UPS. It was wonderful. And unfortunately, it was in the summer and most of the box was full of kale, not much else. It wasn't my favorite vegetable. I was looking for, I don't know, tomatoes or watermelon or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was nice to get that box. So that took 2 squares. And then we had, you offered the survivorship group. By then I was done with chemo. This was now in October of 2020. So I finished chemo in July of 2020. So this was 3 months later. So I was a survivor. The definition was you had to be within 1 year of finishing your chemo. So I had only finished it 3 months ago. So that was, I qualified. So I love groups. I just love groups where people talk. So I joined that and that was wonderful. It was led by Stephanie Chalice. And Sana Camarota was the head of the group. And we had 6 meetings. They talked about exercise, nutrition, emotional health, medical management, and a 5-year follow-up plan. And each of those wonderful. I have books and books of these yellow tablets with notes and notes and notes and printouts, and that was very helpful. So I used 2 squares. No, the survivorship was free. Sorry, no squares. Then it went to I went to Stronger After Cancer, which is a program that I just loved. It was very recent. It was in October and November of this year. It was with Michelle Storrs is the leader of it, and we had 5 weeks, and she divided us. One week was about the body, then the breath, the mind, the heart, and then and sleep, and then a summary. And it was wonderful. And we did exercises, we did groups. She wanted us at the end of every session to, in present tense, to put down where you would like to be, where you are, and where you would like to be, but in present tense. And I kept using, myself and my husband are in good health. My husband and I are in good health. That was what I kept saying over and over again. And then at the end, she did a yoga nidra, they call it. I've never done yoga before. And she kind of had us lay down, and she talked in that soft, beautiful voice about things. And it was really great. So, and there were 30 people in that group. They came from all over the country. I did not realize that Unite for Her was national. I only knew about Pennsylvania, Penn Medicine.
I know. That's how, during the pandemic, we had to really shift how we served. And because we could do that here on the local level, we know we could do it anywhere now. And just like you felt that energy from that yoga class with 30 other people, you were in the comfort of your home, right? So we could allow anyone across the nation to feel that same empowerment and comfort and just, sharpen up their tools so that they can dive in. I'll have to get back to you a little bit on what you were describing, because you really take advantage, of Esther, of everything that's in your community. And I love hearing that. And you actually got us confused with one support group that must have been from Shine that you were talking about, because that wasn't ours, but I loved hearing all about it. And I'm just so glad that you're doing it. Like, that is key. That's so key. You took everything that we were able to bring to you or other organizations were, and just used it to help you heal. And it just makes my heart happy, Esther. It was really,
thank you. I loved all those. I loved all those groups. They were wonderful. And then what I specifically loved as well is the counseling part. I started with counseling session. All of the counselors listed on the website were in Pennsylvania, and
Mhm.
I live in Delaware. I only live, 4 minutes from the Pennsylvania line, but still
Yeah.
it was Delaware. And so I didn't want a Pennsylvania counselor if I wanted to continue afterwards or something. So I talked to Gail Kelly, who's
Mhm.
one of the local people who works on Unite for Her, and she's been wonderful. She was
Is-
so flexible, and she helped me with every issue that I had come up. She worked hard and for months to, first of all, to get me permission to add, to use my little squares. I use
Yeah.
eight
Yeah.
squares for my counseling. And then she worked with my counselor to get my counselor's group to be part of Unite for Her and be able to be
Got them
used
all
by
vetted.
other people. And I was called the leader of helping that to get started. So I was very pleased to be a leader of something. So that was great too. So just
We have a
everywhere along the
remarkable staff, and we're all about our women and making sure that
Oh,
we get you what you need. So I'm glad that you connected with Gail. She is a gem, and we'll work hard to make sure you get, an easy access
Yes.
to counseling. We
Right.
don't want it to be difficult for you. We want it to
Absolutely.
feel just as a part of your lifestyle, and just like getting up in the morning, you have a part of your routine. So I'm glad that worked for you, Esther.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. So
Yeah.
I've had a wonderful experience, and I'm now taking yoga, chair yoga that is offered by Michelle Stortz
Mhm.
twice a week. So I'm taking it once a week.
Awesome.
So I'm learning to do that, and
Yeah. And all
and-
through Zoom. Look at you, right?
yeah,
Yeah, all this savviness that you have now on technology, but it really helped us deliver our program in a way that was probably unimaginable if we would have, been faced with this pandemic 10, 15 years ago. So we
yeah.
have, we do have that to be grateful for. And I'm glad we got to talk to you today. And thank you for being a part of Giving Tuesday. It is really an incredible, incredible event that is worldwide. Like, I don't know, 28 countries all come together and
Wow.
billions of dollars are raised, and people choose their charities that they want to connect to. And our hope is that all of our stories resonate and people are going to say, yes, I want Unite for Her to continue to do all that good work. So Esther, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me.
My pleasure. I've enjoyed
Yeah.
meeting you, and I love talking about this. I've told all my
I can
friends
tell.
they
Tell.
ovarian cancer, but it's just all the things. I said, you can't believe what they're letting me do. It's just wonderful.
And just to have that joy come back at a time that was just so difficult. There's nothing that's more important, for your overall emotional and physical well-being than to have joy lead your day. And I can tell just by the energy in your eyes, they're twinkling, Esther. They're absolutely
Really.
Well, thank you. And everyone, thank you for joining.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah, this is another interview that we're doing all day long. You're going to hear from my staff, the wellness team, a lot of women and men that we treat. We just felt like it is important to hear their stories on such an important day. And thank you for joining us on Giving Tuesday. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.